When you start dating someone, if you introduce him to the kids too early, and then it turns out that the relationship doesn't last, the kids may get attached to somebody who isn't going to be in your life for the long haul. On the other hand, if you don't introduce him early enough, you might wind up getting attached to someone who isn't good with your kids, or the kids aren't happy with him. So what's the happy medium? What's the right time to introduce someone you're seeing to your child or kids? Panelists?
Starting any new relationship, whether you're single or separated or divorced or on your own, is never an easy thing. You get overwhelmed by the initial romantic spin, and you lose yourself. You really lose yourself, and it's very difficult to balance this new feeling of romance you have in your life that you may have lacked in your previous relationship. And you also have to take a look at your child and understand that it's going to influence your child as well. Again, it's very difficult to get caught up in the whole romantic spin, but be aware that introducing the child, regardless of the age of the child, could be confusing to the child. If dad is still around, there's a father figure around, the child can get confused. Is this person replacing daddy? Is this going to be my new daddy? So you have to be so careful as to when you introduce your child, to whom you're introducing your child, and keep in check your feelings for this person before you go into this whole big family, you know, big happy family situation.
I did this a couple of times, and because the relationships didn't work out, then I was like, okay, that was too early. But when I sat my girls down, you know, 8 and 10, and said, this is a lesson for all of us, that we can choose who we want in our lives. If someone's not treating you properly, you can choose to not have them in your life. And I felt like I used it as a positive of that it was a lesson for all of us. That, you know, if they had friends that didn't talk to them properly, they can choose to not have them. Tell them how you feel if things didn't change, and that's what happened in the relationships for me. It just didn't work out, and without having to talk badly about the other human being, and just using it as a lesson.
Well, this is a really good lesson for me, because for me, I have one daughter. She's very young, and I can't even fathom the idea of dating yet. So, you know, I would say, you know, my first response would be never, you know, never introduce them, but obviously that's not going to be the way it's going to go. You know, I still have unwritten things still to settle with her dad, and we don't know where we're going, but, you know, if we choose that we're just going to parent well together and then live different lives, I have to open myself up to dating again. And I think for me, I would introduce them like maybe when I really, you know, I dated a lot. Obviously, I'm an older mom, you know, I'm not a young 20-year-old mom. So I had dated previously than before meeting her dad. And, you know, I would say when I get that feeling that this person's going to be in my life for a really long time, and I know that they have kids, or I can see where they would be good around kids, and somebody that I really see myself with for a while, then I would probably slowly introduce her as mommy's friend, and then, so, you know, and let it progress naturally. I mean, I think that's what I would do. But again, you know, it's really new to me, but it's nice to hear other mothers that have gone through it and how they've handled it, you know, really help someone like me that's new at this. So.
It's scary because you can get so swept up in the moment, and you completely lose track as to what's happening around you. I'm so excited. I want you to meet this new man in my life, and the child is confused. So you've got to keep everything in check as far as timing and the person, and it's a tough call. When is the right time?
Right. I don't know if, you know, there's not a definite instruction manual on when anything's the right time or anything. We just go and do the best that we can. I maybe would make different decisions the next time. But if that's the right one, then there's never a conversation afterwards of why it didn't happen and why it didn't last.
If you've got a comment or a question for us, here's where to write: soloparenting@cynthiamacgregor.com.